Hey guys, what's up? Shadolance back for another review. Today I'll be doing the G18 Chrome, a G18 family gun, quite obviously given the name, and arguably one of the best pistols in the entire game. I like this weapon a lot, but there are some drawbacks that I'll get to in a bit. But before we do that, let's go ahead and do the stats. The damage is 35, so you're looking at a very powerful pistol. Most pistols aren't this strong. In fact, a lot of weaker SMGs are actually even weaker than this, so that's kind of a surprise, especially to see on a pistol like this, although it is an X rare for a reason. The portability is 90, very portable, although that does seem to be the standard these days for a lot of weapons and knives and other secondaries, so I think that's kind of average these days. Although it's quite good, it doesn't stand out. The rate of fire is 45, so that's already very, very high at a pistol, especially a fully automatic one. You're looking at, once again, SMG range, although most SMGs are upwards of 90, so about double the rate of fire of this. So if you imagine a mag pull or something like that, imagine it at half the rate of fire. Of course, it does have a very high damage for an SMG, and keep in mind, this is meant to be a secondary, even though it does perform much more like a primary on occasion. Rate of fire is very high. The accuracy is 69, and this is where it really starts to kick in. This gun does have a pre-attached TA3 scope on it, which shows you the health and I believe your ammo as well. That's one of the only guns in the entire game to do that. I don't believe there are any others that have a TA3 scope pre-attached. There are a few with a TA1, and what some call a TA2, meaning it doesn't show anything like stats at all. So it's one of the only guns in the game to have this scope, if not the only one. I'm not sure. I can't think of that off the top of my head. However, it also does have an S1 suppressor, like I mentioned earlier, similar to the USP series. The USP Tactical has this weapon, the Tactical SE, and I believe a few other guns do have this as well. The K5SD series, by the way, has a S3, so keep that in mind. It's different, although they do perform quite similarly as far as when you're using them as tap-firing guns. The accuracy of 69, like I mentioned before, is very, very high. Now, couple that with the recoil of 55. The recoil of 55 and an S1 suppressor makes this a very, very low recoil weapon. If you go in scope and spray this, you'll notice there is very, very little recoil. The recoil, for some reason, reminds me of an M14 SC. It jumps straight up and just keeps going straight up. There's very little sideways to it, but the straight up does get to be a little bit after a while. However, usually that's not until 7 or 8 shots in, and if you haven't killed your enemy by then, you might want to find a different game to play because your aim is horrible. But just in general, this is an excellent weapon. It will perform very, very well in most situations, although a lot of pistols-only games will ban full auto weapons, so if you're planning on using this for that, I wouldn't expect it to go the way you want to every single time. However, for a clan war or a competitive match, this should perform very, very well. Now, granted, this will not be allowed in CGL rooms because this is an NX rare, as I mentioned earlier. So as far as effectiveness, this weapon's very, very effective. It does have, however, a burst and automatic feature. However, the one thing that I was talking about earlier, the major drawback, is that it does not have a single fire. This makes it very, very hard to control your ammo capacity, considering you only have 45 shots total. And while that is a fair amount of ammo, especially at that kind of a damage and rate of fire, you will burn through it very, very quickly. The rate of fire works both ways. While you will get a lot of shots out very quickly and most likely kill your enemy, you won't be using it for more than a couple of people because it has very, very limited ammo, especially with that rate of fire. I'm glad they didn't give it a whole lot more ammo, though, or the weapon would become too overpowered, and I would not even like to call it a pistol anymore. I'd be more inclined to call it, you know, an SMG or something, at least the way it performs. So overall, it performs very, very well. The recoil pattern is similar to a M14 SE with a little bit less recoil in general, and generally, it performs really, really well. So I would say, yes, it's a great weapon. If you get it, it's up to you to renew it. This is one of the few pistols I would actually consider renewing. I'm not going to renew it because I don't really feel like I need it, and it also takes a lot of the fun out of the game. But overall, it is an effective weapon, so if you feel the need to renew it, go ahead. No one's going to fault you for it. It is an excellent weapon, but in my opinion, it is sort of the maxes of pistols, so I wouldn't really be inclined to do that because you will get called a noob for using it. Overall, that's my entire review of the gun, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I will see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to drop a rate, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Shadolance out.
Start. Double kill. Kill.